who says empire, this MAGA country, ties a noose around your neck and pours bleach on you, and this is just a friendly fight, I will never be the man that this did not happen to. I am forever changed. I have fought for love. I'm an advocate. I respect too much the people who I am now one of those people who have been attacked in any way. You do such a disservice when you lie about things like this.
If the attackers are never found, how will you be able to heal?
I don't know. Let's just hope that they are. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's not go there yet. Let's
I'm sorry, guys. I just need a second. There's just so much trauma coming up listening to that story. Anyways, gratefully, an unexpected plot twist occurred. The would-be aspirin assassins we were able to locate them. In fact,
In this clip, we're diving into a shocking story that ties together Jussie Smollett, the radical left, and what Candace Owens calls a calculated master plan. It's not just about a fake hate crime. It's about how the left allegedly manipulates public opinion to push their agenda forward. Jussie Smollett, an actor once hailed as a symbol of the success in the LGBTQ community, orchestrated what's now infamously known as a staged radical and homophobic attack. But here's where it gets interesting. This wasn't just about him. Candace Owens reveals how this fabricated narrative may have been part of a broader effort to garner sympathy and political momentum to pass special legislation for the LGBTQ community. And wait until you hear this. There's even a surprising connection to Vice President Kamala Harris's family that adds a whole new layer to this controversy. Is it just a coincidence, or is there more to the story than meets the eye?
Look, it's a heavy subject, but the history of hate within America is a very complicated and uncomfortable subject. Slavery, segregation, and then in 2019, people suddenly had to conduct hate crimes against themselves. And one man stepped to the plate immediately to do this, and his name was Jussie Smollett. So I'm going to jog your memory of everything that took place before that fateful wintry night on January 29th, 2019. The FBI had actually already been contacted by Jussie Smollett because someone, you may have forgotten this, and we still don't know exactly who, had mailed him racist hate mail. This was the letter that Jussie Smollett received to his set. And you can see, it looks like it's been written by a 3-year-old, but you can see what it says. It says, "You will die, black F word, beep. You will die, black, beep." And then the 3-year-old drew a gun. This is very scary to receive. Could you imagine Jussie Smollett receiving this? And then you can see there's a person with curly hair that's obviously supposed to be Jussie Smollett. And I'm not even sure if that's a tree. I don't know what's going to happen, but it's very clear. And you look at the return address there. Yeah, that return address says MAGA. MAGA, okay? Now, Jussie was obviously terrified because, like I said, someone, and we still don't know who, had mailed him that, even though Jussie himself is mixed race. His father is 100% Jewish and his mother is black. Here is a photo of Jussie with his parents growing up, but still they wanted to make him apparently the target of their hatred for black people. And I guess they decided to pick this barely known gay actor. And Jussie was also terrified because that letter had a white substance in it. I forgot to mention that a white substance was found in that letter. So what was it? Well, maybe it was anthrax. Imagine how terrified he was. It did trigger a hazmat response on set as authorities had to deal with the strange chemical. Who would want to kill this flamboyant actor in such a demented way? Well, it turned out after investigation that substance was aspirin. But the would-be aspirin assassins were still on the loose. About a week later, before Jussie could even come up for air to process the trauma of that would-be crime, the criminals found him. They found Jesse in the middle of a polar vortex in Chicago in the wee hours of the morning, about 2 a.m. Jesse, as you may recall, was just on a walk to do what people do at 2 a.m. in the morning. They go to get a Subway sandwich in the middle of a polar vortex. And as he was heading home back to his apartment, two white guys wearing a mask jumped out and attacked him. And they said, rather mysteriously, "This is MAGA country." I'm just delivering you guys the facts here. I know we're all a little bit traumatized, but this is exactly what happened to him. They also decided to throw bleach on him. You're asking yourself why? Well, to turn him white, obviously, because it's MAGA country. So you have to start turning black people white by throwing bleach on them. And then they put a noose around his neck, presumably to hang him, I don't know, off of a Chicago skyscraper or something. Jesse bravely fought back and escaped their attack. He made it back to his apartment and he phoned the police. And when the police arrived, he still had that noose around his neck and he still also had the Subway sandwich in his hand, which led some people to ask some immediate questions about the attack, going, "Why did you still have the sandwich?" Well, what kind of a sandwich was it?
My guess would be a dipped Italian beef sandwich. If you enjoy content like this, be sure to subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out a ton.
It was really good, guys. Anyways, Jesse, in all of this confusion, sat down with ABC News and assured people that there was absolutely no funny business here. He was absolutely telling the truth. And here he is sitting down with Robin Roberts of ABC. Take a listen.
Who says empire, this MAGA country, ties a noose around your neck and pours bleach on you, and this is just a friendly fight? I will never be the man that this did not happen to. I am forever changed. I have fought for love. I'm an advocate. I respect too much the people who I am now one of those people who have been attacked in any way. You do such a disservice when you lie about things like this.
If the attackers are never found, how will you be able to heal?
I don't know. Let's just hope that they are. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's not go there yet. Let's
I'm sorry, guys. I just need a second. There's just so much trauma coming up listening to that story. Anyways, gratefully, an unexpected plot twist occurred. The would-be aspirin assassins we were able to locate them. In fact, they turned themselves in, and they did not look how the public had really imagined them looking after hearing his story. We learned that their names were Abel and Ola Osundairo. They were two Chicago-born, big, black Nigerian brothers. And, you know, I'm a Nigeria stan. You guys know that. I love Nigerians. And they had a very different story, very honest people, good values. For them, this was just a day at the office. They were asked to do this. It was just hard work. Take a listen to what they said happened that evening.
They took our beautiful bench. This is where we waited for Jesse to come before we attacked him. So we got here with 10 minutes to spare, and we had to plan our escape route to survey the land. His building is actually right here, right above the stairs that we're going to attack him at. We made sure we got there at 2 a.m. sharp.
On the dot.
On the dot. We had no phones because he did not want us to bring any phones. He said, so we don't lose them. I don't know if that's really the reason, but you can deduce your own reason. So 2 a.m., he was nowhere to be found. He was not there. So we were like, damn, what do? We didn't have no way of contacting him. He had no way of contacting us. So we waited here for about, what? 4 minutes?
It was about 4 minutes,
4 minutes.
But it felt like forever.
Because it was cold as balls. So I saw him out the corner of my eye, and I was like, okay, that's him. Let's go. We gotta go get this Empire fat. Yeah, that's him. That's him. Is that him?
That's that neck.
Stand there.
Get that neck.
Oh, he's moving fast. Come on, let's get him.
Get that neck.
Let's get him. As we crossed the street, we said hey to get his attention.
Hey, Nick.
Hey! He turned around, looked at us, and that's when we started yelling, the famous slurs he wanted us to yell. Hey,
Aren't you that Empire?
hey, Empire fat nigga. It's MAGA country.
Yeah.
And then he said, what did you say to me? And then that's when I threw the first punch at him. I held the blow because I didn't want to hurt him, of course. So I made it look real, but I held it. Then we started tussling, moving around, and then I threw him to the ground. He wanted it to look like he fought back. That was very important for him.
Someone in the chat, people are asking, is this real? Yes, that's real. Well, that is actually the Unsung Dyer brothers taking Fox News through what actually happened that night after they were hired. Again, they weren't trying to commit a crime. They were hired by a guy to commit a crime against him as a hoax. Like I said, these brothers are just working a hard day at work. I told you, Nigerians work hard, period. They're also honest people, as you can see. So they're just reenacting what they were hired to do. And that was their story. We knew Jussie was upset, they said, because there wasn't a big public response to the letter that got sent to him from the toddler. And they said that, according to them, he also sent the letter to himself. Now, there's some evidence there, because remember, that letter did come from MAGA. It doesn't say MAGA country. That could be MAGA city. I don't know. I don't know what that is. But there is some proof that these two things are attached. So they took on the job. Yes, 100%. That is real, you guys. After an investigation, the police sided with the Unsung Dyer brothers. I'm pleased to hear that because they are hilarious and this is really funny. Jussie Smollett was then arrested and charged in February with 16 felony accounts related to making false reports that he was assaulted by two men.
Imagine being so desperate for attention that you literally hire two guys to fake beat you up in the middle of a Chicago winter. And not just any guys, your personal trainers. That's a special level of pathetic right there. I mean, who thinks, you know what would really get me some sympathy? A staged racist attack with a noose and some Subway sandwiches. And to top it off, he allegedly sent a hate letter to himself, like a dramatic middle schooler writing fake love notes for attention. The cringe is off the charts. Then after pulling off this Oscar-worthy performance, he goes on national TV, straight-faced, and plays the victim. Meanwhile, the brothers he hired are reenacting the whole thing for the police like it's a Broadway audition. How do you even keep a straight face in court when your personal trainers turned actors are spilling all the tea? Honestly, you have to wonder, is there anything the left won't stoop to in their relentless pursuit of power and control over the people?
But then Kim Foxx, the unbelievably corrupt attorney general, moved to drop all 16 charges against him in March. She's connected to the Obamas, Kamala Harris. Everybody knows she's unbelievably corrupt, and she mysteriously dropped all the charges against him, said, you know what, he paid his bail, he served some community service, that's it. Understandably, the public was completely outraged. They were outraged because Jussie basically tried to inspire a race riot, blaming this is MAGA country, staging a hoax against himself when everybody was saying, oh, Trump supporters are racist. He did this, and they were just going to allow him to walk scot-free. So then a special prosecutor's office intervened, and they moved to bring the charges back against the actor in February of 2020. Then there was a trial. The evidence was heard. A jury heard the evidence, heard the Unsung Dyer brothers testified to what they did, because they were just like, I'm just trying to work. We're just here to make it in this city. I got hired for a job and I did it. And Jussie was obviously convicted of 5 counts of disorderly conduct, ordered him to jail for 150 days, but then he was released just 6 days later pending an appeal. Okay, so he appeals it. The appellate courts do not decide in his favor. They upheld the initial conviction. So then he appealed again to the Supreme Court of Illinois, and this time they decided in his favor. That brings us to today. That's all over the news. The Supreme Court of Illinois has decided in Jussie Smollett's favor. Now, to be clear, the Supreme Court did not find him not guilty of staging a racist and homophobic attack against himself. That was not what was at issue. Rather, his lawyers used a technicality, and it was actually a very smart legal argument. It was very sound, saying essentially that once the Attorney General's office dropped the charges after Kim Foxx was corrupt, and obviously he had a leg into that office, a special prosecutor should not have been able to bring the charges back. Essentially, they were making a double jeopardy argument, and the Supreme Court found that to be sound. And so now he's done. He's a free man after serving 6 days in prison. Now, I want to be clear, if Jussie was white and not Jewish and black, we'd probably be talking about white supremacy and the corruption of the court system, which allowed this man who was guilty as sin to walk free. But like I said, because he's mixed and only, of course, says that he's black publicly, because that's what everybody does. America is so racist that when any person is biracial, they always just want you to know that they're black, like Colin Kaepernick, this guy. Okay, we get it. We're not going to hear anything more from the media. But the question is, why would Jussie do all of this? There is an important lesson in all of this. Is he truly just a psychopath who is desperate for attention? Well, I don't think so. Let's not forget what Judge Joe Brown told me when he was on this show, connecting the dots here and saying, Jussie Smollett is related to Kamala Harris's family. I'm going to show you that clip to jog your memory. Take a listen.
You know, one of her relatives by marriage, his name is Jussie Smollett, the one that got caught up with that fraud thing. He's her nephew by marriage. Okay? You get this little picture, a family connection and the noose around the neck. And by the way, I interviewed several Chicago detectives and police on that, and I happen to know one that's a cop. He's back in the DMV area now. And Jussie and the bunch had been planning this for months, and they used to discuss it at this particular athletic club, and everybody knew it. And they got pictures of Jussie Smollett buying this noose during Halloween season at a costume shop. They've got it on video, and on security cameras, you can see him putting the noose around his own neck. And he had met with Kamala just before that, and she and Cory Booker, this is the same day when he flew into Chicago. They had been working on something that Conyers came up with in 1997 that is now modified and introduced as the Emmett Till anti-lynch bill.
Wow.
Remember the neck?
Yes.
And the whole thing, they went off and then they had to withdraw it because of the fraud that came out.
Wow.
Well, see, this is something they're trying to do. And maybe this will give you an idea of how they're sneaking around here. The Emmett Till anti-lynch bill has nothing to do with black people.
No bill they put up has anything to do with black people.
No.
Or just the headline. But then when you read
the headline does.
Yeah.
But what it does is it puts into the American federal criminal laws for the first time sexual orientation as a victim category for criminal offenses.
What he is saying here is actually really important and something that I have been recognizing over the years, which is that our government is playing blackface. From Obama to Kamala to Jussie Smollett, people that are involved in all of these scandals are essentially using black emotion. But whose rights are they actually perpetuating throughout American society? Actually, they're removing most American rights, and they seem hell-bent on furthering LGBTQ causes. It's astonishing. What he is saying essentially is that our government, and this would explain why they did not want him to spend even one night in prison. 6 was way too many. They did everything to drop all of these charges. He's saying this was a plot, and our government is essentially executing social false flags on American soil, that the government is in on it. Essentially, that Jussie Smollett was a government-paid actor, a government person who was supposed to go out there, sell the part like he did, cry with tears, so that they could quickly jam through legislation, just like they did with the Matt Laramie case when I explained to you guys what actually happened in that case. And yet GLAAD saw an opportunity and people said, well, this is so heinous and so crazy, we're just going to be emotional and say that we're going to pass through various legislations. Exactly what happened with 9/11. Oh, this is I'm not going to say a false flag, but it's such a big situation that we just instantly have to get this jammed through Congress. Pay attention to these sorts of things, emotional engineering, and the government seizing more power for itself and more power for different groups, like the LGBTQ community, while other Americans are made to suffer. It is fascinating, and that is exactly what the lesson is in the Jussie Smollett case. I believe firmly that this was another government-failed false flag operation.
It's crazy how our government did everything to sweep this under the rug because the plan backfired. Smollett played the victim. shed fake tears, and hoped America would play along, but when the truth came out, it exposed not just him, but the willingness of those in power to manipulate public sentiment for public gain. So what do you think? Was this all just a poorly executed hoax, or is there something bigger at play here? I'd love to hear your thoughts, so let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear the truth, and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives and honest takes. Your support helps keep these conversations going.